Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode for those of you that have been following the show for a while. I have on Qamar Zaman back on the show, and we co-host an episode of Mission Matters Marketing Weekly, and we have a treat for you today. I should say Qamar has been doing a master class, and I've been asking him a lot of questions, and today we're on part 3 of that series, and the subject will be how to be found locally. First off, Qamar, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Super excited today. Again,
man, Qamar. Well, let me tell you, I will be taking notes as always. I feel like I'm back in school every time I have you back on here, in a good way, by the way, because I like school, number one, and I took a lot of notes. So I'm pumped about today's topic. So how to be found locally. Maybe first if I can have you do a recap of what we've covered so far, and I don't mean like a 10-minute recap, but my goal is I want everybody that's listening to go back and check out part 1 and part 2.
Right. So in episode number 7, we started to solve a problem because the biggest challenge of a business owner that is actually listening to this podcast is that I'm not getting found on search results, and Google is constantly changing what can we do. So we started taking that seriously. So we started episode number 7 was where we taught you literally of how to build a website page so you can start to rank. And that was episode number 7. And that was precisely how to write website content that ranks with Google. Then episode number 8, we went further in how to write blog that kind of amplifies the pages that you have done to rise on the top of search results. We got that. So that episode number 8. Today, episode number 9 is going to be, now you have a website, you have a blog. Now what to do? So now you want to be found locally. In other words, when somebody's searching for a local plumber in your area, you want your business to show up so you can start making some money. So today is just that. We're going to go over local SEO and marketing.
Awesome. Well, let's just dive right in. So part 3, how to be found locally. Where do you want to start with this one?
So to be found locally is, a lot of people just have this understanding that, okay, and I get these calls from business owners that, want to be ranking locally, and they say, well, I have a website and I want to rank locally. And I said, okay, well, let me check. So when I do a check, they do have a website, but their website is not done well, which is not their fault. But the biggest problem is that the website does not show their address on the homepage. So the very first thing is that if you are a local business owner, make sure that your address is showing in the footer of your homepage, not just for the user experience. So Google can determine from art of relevance that you are a local business situated and an address, and that address needs to be exactly, how your business is incorporated. And that's the first biggest mistake is that people do is they don't exactly put their address the way it's supposed to be. They just put the name of the business and they just leave it there. Or they will put the name of the business and they will put the address, which may not be exactly the way the address needs to be in the map, and they put the zip code and they just leave it there. So what I want to first talk about is a terminology that we use in SEO. It's called a N.A.P. A N.A.P doesn't mean go to sleep. It means name, address, and a phone number. So if you are a business owner and you are, let's say, a plumbing company based in Los Angeles, and you are called Mr. Plumber, So Mr. Plumber must have a name. That is exactly what you want to put. Don't put anything else. A lot of people try to be smart. In the name, they will put Los Angeles Plumbing Company. That's not your name. That's the keyword that will be found for your name. So don't be smart. Put the name of your company, Mr. Plumber Inc. or LLC or doing business at. Once you have that Mr. Plumber defined, then are you located? Most people, because they are working from home, the biggest mistake they do is that they don't want to put their address because they don't want people coming and visiting them at home. And Google does not rank you at a home address. Even if they did, you will be having foot traffic coming to your home. So you want to go to a executive office or a shared office, and they have these plans where you can rent an address and you can use that address to be found, so you can go and meet your clients, etc. They're inexpensive. But what you do is you get an address from them, so that becomes like your place of business to be, and then that's the address that you want to plug in and into your website, and then you put a phone number. And the phone number you want to put is not a toll-free number. You want to put a local number, so it kind of gives relevance to Google as well as the user that you are a local business owner rather a toll-free number like a franchisee or something. So you have all of that structured together, and you put it either on the left or the right side of the footer so people can find it. And the last thing you want to put is a address embed code. And I'll tell you how to get that. So make sure that you have your name of the business, not your name of your business, your address and your phone number, zip codes, etc. Put it together. So that's the very first thing. A lot of people have it. And if they have it, it's done right. If they don't have it, definitely don't have it, they skip it. And what they do is they put it in the contact us page. And that's fine too. But the recommended solution that I've found to help rank you better is put it in the footer so it looks nice.
And so I wanna take a moment on this. So what happens when somebody doesn't do this right? Because I feel like, and I'll pick on myself. So once upon a time, I started a company. This company's not with us anymore. It wasn't a media company, it was another one, and I did have a shared office space. And I remember like kind of going through it, and I didn't really kind of understand some of the things you said. So I just kind of clicked through the boxes pretty quick. I did a couple of that, but I didn't fill everything. I don't think I set any of it up right. Now that you're saying this, I think I'm going to pick on myself here. Like, what happens when you don't do these things right? Like, and because it's pretty straightforward, like what needs to be done, but what happens when you skip these steps?
So when you skip these steps, you're never going to be ranking in the local map area. Now, bear in mind that, if you're in a shared space and you started the business and somebody was going to search and come and see you, how will they come and see you? So then you have to text them a message. And, in those days, nobody was texting anyway. So that's the very first thing you want to do is, if you don't do it right, people are not going to be able to find your business, So that's the worst thing, because a lot of people think that Google is only one dimensional, but Google is actually multi-dimensional. So there's the Google homepage, which everybody knows about, but there is a tab called Google Maps. So if you are a business and you're not in a map, how will people find you, right? So I'm kind of breaking those down into parts. So by not doing it, it's a problem. You're not going to be found, And if you don't do it the right way, you are going to what I call a brand fracture. So you have half of the things right and half of the things wrong. So what happens? I'll give you a perfect case study. Say you're a local plumber and you registered your business with the local association and you have your address, and then you went to AT&T and you got a phone number there and you did everything. So what's going to happen? Those things, or AT&T is going to sell your data to a data aggregator. The data aggregator is going to take your information and put it into the system so you can be found when somebody searches for your name or your address. Now, on one side, your data is there, but on your side of the things, you have put in half of the information. Maybe you have your name right, the business name right, but your address you are using of an old place that you had because you felt, I don't want to show my PO box here, so I'm not going to show any address. I'll use the address that was there before. So now it's called a brand fracture. Half information is there The other half is not, so it becomes a brand fracture. As a result, Google cannot crawl your local listing correctly. Hence, you're not going to get found.
And so if somebody set it all up incorrectly in the first place, there's still time for them to fix that, yeah?
Correct.
All right.
There's always
awesome.
a time to fix. The longer they take, the longer it takes to get fixed. So early on, get it done right. But if you obviously didn't, then there are ways to fix it, and we can talk about that at the end of the show.
Awesome. Continue with the lesson. I just wanted to get those couple questions out. But
Sure. We have a website. At this point, we have put our address. The next thing you want to do is take your address and Google that address the way your address you entered the website, and see if there is a map for your address. And most likely, if you have never done it, you're not going to see the map address in Google. So you know how you put your address, and if your business does not show in Google, then what you have to do is, you can write this down, go to Google My Business, and it's called My Business. But if you go to Google My Business, Google has a program where you can log in with your Gmail address or whatever email address that you use, and you can click that listing. In other words, now Google is telling you have a business. Let me put a map for you in our directory, because that's a directory, and you want to copy exactly what I told you to put it on the website. Don't be creative. Make sure that you copy exactly what is there. You have a business name, you have the address, and you want to put your zip code, your phone number. Don't put your cell phone there, but in the business you had a different number. If you put a cell phone in your business, in your homepage, then put the same phone number there. Whatever number you're using, some people try to be creative. What they do is say, well, since I'm going to get a call on this cell phone, I'm going to put my cell phone here, but then on the homepage, they're going to put some other number. Don't be creative. That's why it needs your N.A.P, which is name, address, phone number, needs to be consistent across all the channels. So that's the thing. Now, as you're doing this and you have claimed your Google My Business page, Google is going to say, what are your working hours? In other words, what hours is your business going to be open? Now, here's a big mistake people do. What they do is I'm available from 9 to 5, and all of the times I'm not available. Now, bear in mind that you are a storefront, and that's available. If you're a storefront and you are only open from 9 to 5, that's fine. But if you're a virtual company, you're a plumber, you're available all the time because you want to get the leads. Make it available 247. Make it, you can say that available 247 and put in the comments box saying, by appointments only after that time. So Google is giving you the opportunity to do that. The next thing you want to do after you have defined your office hours, you want to categorize what is your business. And what biggest mistake people do over in this category is they select everything that Google is giving them. So if you're a plumber, you are a plumber. Just select plumbing. If you're a lawyer and you are a divorce lawyer, so select divorce lawyer. But a lot of people, what they do is they select lawyer, divorce lawyer, injury lawyer, this lawyer, that lawyer. And that is too many. You can add those later, but at least put one that is more relevant to what you do. Because if you go too broad, you're not going to rank for anything. So at least select one. If you're a plumber, you would plumber. If you also do electrical work, if you're an electrician, create a separate map for that. Don't use plumbing, because usually plumbers are different, right? So do that. Once you have that, now what you're going to do is describe your business. Be creative. They will tell you, how do you describe business? In few words, describe your business. So when people actually read it, it's motivating for them to click and learn more. In other words, if you offer a service that is available after 12 o'clock, you can say, I'm the only guy in town that will come to your house, within 30 minutes. Whatever the promise you do, put it there. Obviously, don't do wrong promises, because that will come and bite you in a different section, which I'll talk about. So once you are done all of that, and then you hit submit, you will get a postcard within 5 to 7 days to your address that you have shown. Now, be careful. If you did not use the right address, that postcard is going to oblivion. You will never get it. So you will never get the postcard delivered. As a result, your business will not be verified. So once you get that postcard, you will get a code in that postcard. You will open, it will say letter from Google. I love those type of letters because anything from Google is fun, right? So when you open that up, you get the card. You go back to Google My Business page, the directory where you have gone in to set up that. Okay, you go and put the code, and then bingo, it says your business is verified. That's the best thing. What you get, and before you take the next step, you go and take some pictures, and you upload some pictures, and there's a section in that area called upload pictures from the owner. And you want to do your logo, you want to put pictures of your inside, you want pictures of your outside. It's pretty intuitive. It's hard to explain that on the podcast, but you can see all of that in Google My Business. And then once that is done, now your business is verified, and you can now search in the Google Maps, and you will see that your map is there. The next step is to take that map, and it'll give you a small button. It's called the share. There will be 4 directions, website, phone call, etc. There's a button called share. You click on the share, it'll give you a link, and you take that share link and you go back to your home page. And remember, we told you to put your address. You tell your developer, and if you are the developer, you copy that and put it there. So now when people click on that footer website of yours and they want to see where they are, they can see in the Google map where you are located.
This is a big deal because, like I guess the what I have to throw out there is that, brick and mortar versus online. So a lot of people working from homes right now. A lot of people, like maybe some people even giving up their offices. Like, how does that relate to all of this? Because I was just thinking about it myself. I'm like, oh, we gave up that office and I've been working from home in my home studio and all these other things. Like, what would you suggest for that end of things?
So if you're brick and mortar, obviously people are coming to see you, but most of us,
for sure,
especially accountants, lawyers, plumbers, we are working from our truck and cars. So the best thing is to go to that, shared office space, get a $50 address. It's worth the investment because that is giving you an extra freebie. Because remember, you have your website, that's your one placeholder. Now you are getting an extra placeholder from Google, which is pretty much free. Google is not charging you. So when people are you're doing a good job of plumbing, why not build that asset and have something else benefit you? So while there's a compromised living in the office, leaving the big office, and, there are some really big benefits that the digital front offers you with the Google My Business.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a great point, because I was just thinking about, even for everybody that's been watching this for a long time now and that's watched the entire series, because this is only part 3 of this particular series, but I've recorded many other episodes with Qamar. They're probably thinking, man, does Adam just sit here and ask this guy for advice on how to improve his business? The answer to that question is yes, and I'm doing it for all of us because Qamar knows a lot of stuff about this. So thank you for that, Qamar.
Actually, I don't know if you recall, the very first book we co-authored my topic was Google My Business. After that, I wrote the entire book on how to get found on Google, which is Google My Business book. So I've been drinking this Kool-Aid for a few years now.
I do remember that. Now that you say that, I was just thinking about it. Oh yeah, that was the first one. That was a couple of years ago now. Man, time flies on this stuff. It's awesome, and it's still as relevant then as it is today. So let's keep digging further, man. This is great.
Okay, so now you got your map, you got your pictures loaded, etc. Now the best thing is, when people want to do business with you, what is the first thing they always do? They like to know, is your business even legit? Do you have customers? And that's what I love Google about, because when you are a business and you have done a great job, like you, Adam, if you have a Mission Matters Google My Business page, you do an excellent job, podcast day in, day out. Do you have a business page where you can get reviews? So, and the review business, that you can, anytime you're buying, whether you're buying from Best Buy or you are going to a restaurant, don't you always check reviews? So same way, people are checking about you. There's even a search on Mission Matters podcast review. So imagine if they found this in a Google address and they find the reviews, and, you get excellent reviews, Google helps you rank better. So with the map address comes a free feature that you are able to get the reviews. On the other side, The flip side is that if you did not do a good job, people will go and complain. And even if you did a good job and they complained, at least now you have a way to go and reply to that review to get that complaint off. So that's another feature of a review business as a Google, that you can have. Now, so that's the third feature, the review business in Google. The fourth feature in the Google My Business or local, which we are still talking about, is Google gives you this feature of posting blog content. So it's called an update. So remember in episode number 8, we talked about you had created a blog. So the first thing what you do is after you've created the blog, you go and share the blog on Facebook, on Twitter, and Pinterest, wherever you are. But now you have another opportunity. You can come to Google My Business page. There's a section called Post Update. You can go there. You can put the link to the blog. You can put a picture of yourself or whatever the product you're talking about and hit publish. So now your content is getting shared because you did excellent work on writing the blog. Your content is now getting shared in the Google sphere. That will help you rank. So now that's another benefit of local SEO that a lot of people ignore. They don't even know how to do it. So since we are on the topic of local SEO, once you have, so I'm going to recap it before I go any further. You take your website footer, you put the address, then you go to Google. You go and claim your business if you haven't done that. And then you start posting the content updates from Google My Business. Now, once Google My Business is active, you want to create something called a citation. Citations are a bunch of directories that will automatically start linking to you when you register your business. And they are like Yelp, they're like House, or they're merchant circles and Apple Maps. You will start to get links from those directories automatically sometimes, but sometimes you have to do it yourself. So if you have not got it, go to these sites like Yelp. There are all free directories. And one way to do that is do a Google search for how do I add my business to Yelp? How do I add my business to, expertise? How do I add my business to Angie's List? So, and in the end of the show notes, I'll send it so we can add a list of sites that you need to be. You don't have to be in all of them, but there are about 30 directories that you want your business to be in, because those are backlinks that you are getting that are pointing back straight to your local business map, and that's going to help you rise up on the search results. So those are the things. And for clients that work with you, Adam, like when you send them a podcast, they need to share that podcast in their Google business page. So that will help create more visibility for the show that they have been, gladly on. So that's one of the ways to do it.
That's big time. No, I like it. And man, you just got me thinking, like my wheels are spinning over here, and I'm like, we're missing out. I can just tell you at Mission Matters, we're missing out on everything that you just said. And now that I'm kind of kicking myself from the standpoint of you wrote about it in one of our books and I'm not doing it, man. Let's just say that there's other business owners right now that are also in the kind of the same spot that we are. Like, how long does this stuff take? Like if you were to so they're like, you know what, I'm missing the boat on all this. Tomorrow we need some help. Like how long does this take?
Before I talk about this process is not creative, but time consuming. So there are two
that I can see. That's why I said that I can see.
Yeah. So the one part is, going through my book, reading everything, listening to the podcast, or do it yourself. So if you're one of those, definitely read my book or listen to the podcast and at least do your functions. But if not, this is an ongoing process that happens every single month. And we have a very inexpensive, like a $99 service where we do all this work for you. And all you pay is just $99. And we manage your entire local SEO map, pointing to the directories, the citations, etc. So we do this for you. So we offer services to all type of clients. We do the heavy lifting, so you don't have to do anything. And we guide you, so in doing that. But that's the service that we have.
That's
but it's very
great.
time consuming. Yeah, you can end up
No,
spending
no.
a lot of time every single day.
Oh yeah, no. This is work for sure, for sure. All right, let's keep going down with this lesson because I want
Right.
some more.
So after you have got your citations, directories listed, the one thing that you want to do is reach out to your local chamber. A lot of people ignore the Chamber of Commerce and Better Business Bureau, credibility. It's a very good shingle to have, especially the Better Business Bureau. You should become a member of the Better Business Bureau. And then when you do, inexpensively, what they do is they give you a badge, and their badge has the highest Google trust value. So it's going to point back to your site. And then you can also put on your site that you're a member of Better Business Bureau. It adds credibility to your business and also helps you rank better. If you're a plumber, you can do a search for business associations for plumbers in your area. So let's say if you're a plumber in LA, you're in Business Association for Plumbers in LA, and then you will see all the associations that are either free or paid, and you contact them and say, hey, I want to be a member in this association. How much does it cost me? Obviously, there are benefits, and you become a member. And if you're already a member, make sure that you send out the website link and your Google business address to these associations, because that's a big fault people do. They are members of so many places, but they're not leveraging the memberships. So reach out to your memberships everywhere that you are involved into, and then help them link back to your website, because that's going to be the best value of link that you're going to get. If you remember, we talked about links in episode number 8. So if you haven't listened to that, do listen to it. So the link value is really, really good, because the web is interrelated. If you're not connected from different points, it's kind of like a bicycle spoke, right? If you're not connected, you're broken. So what you have to do is make sure that all associations, all colleges, every place where you went to, reach out and say, now you're doing your business. If you're a financial planner, reach out to your associations. If you're a doctor, divorce lawyer, personal injury lawyer, reach out to associations. And sometimes I've seen, and this is one of the things that we do as part of our program in digital marketing, that when we look at, you graduated from law school and you did not even have a website then, but you could get a website linking back to you. But because you never gave it to them, they never put it there. So you can go back and say, request the law school that, I'm now practicing attorney. Here's a link to my website. Would you be willing to do that? Most of the time they would. So you are going to earn these free links that are they have really good value, and you want to get those links back.
I don't want to assume that everybody understands the benefit of those links. I know we've talked about backlinking and an extensive backlinking strategy in previous episodes, but just briefly, tell us a little bit more about the importance of the links, specifically.
A link is a recommendation. So if you're running for an office and you want to be recommended by multiple people, you would reach out to the people and say, hey, can you please vote for me? If you're running for a senator, you would reach out to your people and say, can you vote for me? Links are recommendations. So in other words, if you have a link coming from a newspaper, if you have a link coming from, your high school, basically what they're saying is they're pointing to your site. So from their site, they'll say, Adam Torres, he graduated from Michigan State. Now he's a Mission Matters podcast CEO. So they'll put your name and they'll have a URL, missionmatters.com, linking back to you. So when somebody looks at the old alumni directory, they can see, oh, Adam is successful. He's at Mission Matters. So that is a link back to you, and those are what you want. So that's a link. The more link you have organically coming to you, that's how the internet will find you and help you rank better in search. So that's, in short, that's really a link. It's a recommendation coming from somebody.
That's awesome. That's helpful. I don't want to assume that anybody knows what that is, because sometimes I even miss it too. I'm like, all right, I know I need links, but why do I need them again? So that's awesome. Keep on going, Qamar. Keep it coming.
Right. So now that you talked about the link, I want to explain to you the 3 parts of the link, 3 components of a link. Okay. So I want you to think about in your head, draw like a Venn diagram. So there are 3 circles. The first circle is contextual. Okay. Contextual relevance, a link coming from a site that is relevant to what you do. In other words, Mission Matters gets a link from another podcaster there is a beautiful link because both of you are contextually relevant to each other. Okay. And that is the highest value of a link. Okay. It is placed from their website. They wrote an article, and in the middle of the article, they said, you know what? I interviewed Adam Torres of Mission Matters. Okay. And that is an anchor text in the link. In other words, the text that links so they can jump to come to you. That's contextually relevant. Person linking is relevant to you. What is not a contextually relevant link? If you were to introduce a podcaster, or let's say I did a podcast with you and I linked to you and I'm in the business of cell phone repair. Okay. What is cell phone repair got to do with a financial planner? Maybe no relevance, right? So that link is not of that too much value. It's a good link, but it's not as good. But let's say I wrote a topic about how to do phone repair for financial planner. We know that link is manufactured because the topic doesn't kind of make it relevant. So those type of links are not contextually relevant, or they're not good links. As a result, they don't really value. So the second circle that we talked about in the Venn diagram is local relevance. The local means that you are getting a link from somebody who's local. In other words, you are Mission Matters based in LA, and a local flower shop links back to you because they were interviewed by you and you did a podcast with them, and they went in to their website and they put a link saying, today I'm so excited. I was introduced by Mission Matters Adam Torres, and check out my podcast here. Here's a link. That link is coming back to their page where your podcast is sitting on Mission Matters. That is locally relevant because they are in LA, you are in LA. That's local relevant link. So since our topic today is about local SEO, if you are getting links from locally relevant providers or sites, that's the best link you can get, especially if you're local. The third circle in the authority, in the link structure, is authority. If you're getting a link from a site like Forbes, that's an authority link. It's hard to get. You can't buy it. Somebody has to really interview you, mention it, etc., etc., etc. So that is the highest authority of the link. Now imagine you were interviewed by a local panel of Forbes executives. So Forbes did a page on local podcasters that are in LA, and they did a piece on that. Where is it coming from? Local LA. So that's local relevance. You are getting a mention in the body of the context, so it's contextually relevant. And you are also getting a link from authority, which is Forbes LA. So as a result, now you have a sweet spot. You got local relevance in the middle. You got contextual relevance. You got authority all together. I call it the sweet spot link, and that's the best link that you can ever get. So most people don't know how to do it, so they don't. So when your link is authoritative, contextually relevant, and local, and it's in the center, that's the best link. Now, it's hard to get all of those at once, but you have to keep getting them.
And so, I mean, either way, it's part of the overall strategy. So it could take some time, but it's worth the effort is what it sounds like to me.
Correct. That's the digital marketing program that we offer. So when some companies say, well, you know what, I don't want to do anything because my job is to run my dental practice, then you do everything for me. So that's where we offer a local SEO service package, and we can help them get all of that ranking and get them transactions, so they can go laughing to the bank.
That's what I like to hear. All right. So then, what's the next step?
So the next step is to recap. So local SEO is really, really important. What I'm trying to drive home is make sure your home page consists of your address. Make sure that you have a Google My Business page claimed. Make sure you have done all your citations, which is your directory listings, and make sure that you are getting, registered in Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureaus, local associations, and you can do all of that to start ranking for your local website. Now, if you cannot do any of that or all of that or part of that, that's when you hire a digital marketer. Make sure that you check their rankings. Make sure that they have a good 5-star review. They know what they're doing. They are drinking the same Kool-Aid that they're telling you to do. They have good reviews. If you can't find any of them, then you look for me, and that's kisspr.com.
Fantastic. One more time, I know you said it earlier, but I think you said it was only like $100 or something like that to get some of this started. Am I right on that for like monitoring, or go over that again?
Yes.
Because the thing is that this stuff needs to be done. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the $99 or the $100 package gives them from fixing their website on the homepage to claiming their business and helping them with the citations. That's the basic package we have. Now, if they want us to do more things, obviously it's different, but that's our starting package. And some people just need just that. They don't need more than that. So.
That's awesome. And the website, one more time, I'm sure we'll have a backlink in it and in the show notes, but what's the website one more time?
kisspr.com, KISS, keep it super simple. P stands for predictable results, PR, kisspr.com.
Fantastic. Well, Qamar, as always, I have a whole bunch of notes here and a whole bunch more homework to do, so thank you for that. My team always appreciates it. As soon as we come off of one of these, they're like, oh, what's Qamar going to have us do now? But, hey, it's well-deserved and needed medicine over here to make sure that we're all progressing our businesses, and I'm very thankful for you to putting together this content for our audience so that they can also have actionable steps to take to improve their businesses, and in this case, their digital footprint and how they're being found locally. So again, this was part 3 of the series. Qamar, really appreciate you coming on the show. To the audience, if this is your first time connecting with us or listening, definitely hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to be a return listener and return visitor. We have many more mission-based entrepreneurs and experts coming up for you on the show, and we don't want you to miss a thing. And Qamar, as always, been a pleasure. Thanks for coming back on the show. Look forward to our next one.
Thank you. I watched the movie over the weekend, and the hero says, at the end, he says, if you liked my movie, thank you so much for coming. And if you don't like it, I want you to change your taste.
I'll take it. I say the same thing. Change your taste if you didn't like this. Awesome. Thanks again, Qamar. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. My pleasure.